Hello and good morning from grey and cloudy Hanoi, Vietnam. And we're going to do some sightseeing. And I'm actually very happy it's a cloudy day. It's not even 30 degrees. It's really nice. I just hope it doesn't rain. But let's see what we can find here in Hanoi. I am here by the flag tower of Hanoi. This tower was built in the start of the 1800s and survived the French occupation and survived both the world wars. And in 1945, after the revolution here, the Vietnamese flag was raised here for the very first time. And since then it's been like a sign of independence. So let's go inside and take a closer look. And when this was originally built, back in the 1800s, it was on the grounds of the Forbidden City. But that didn't survive. But the tower did. And here, where the Forbidden City used to be, they built the Imperial Citadel. And this, in the distance, is the back gate, which we are going to go through. Just need to follow this path ahead. I'm doing some gardening work here. Need to plant some flowers maybe. Up ahead we have the gate to the Imperial Citadel. We're now inside, but let's go up on the wall. I read that originally this was the main gate, and this palace dates back to the 1100s, so super old. So all this was already here back when the Vikings ruled the seas. Yeah, this used to be the main gate back in those days. There's not much on the inside. Let's see, there's a big tree in the way. Yeah, there's not much here on the inside. But I bet if they do some digging, they will find some interesting stuff, which they probably already have. There's so many dragonflies. I don't know if camera picks it up. Anyway, that was the south gate, which turns out to be the main gate, which I thought was the back gate. Yeah, let's get off the wall and further into the citadel. Here where they have built a shrine now used to be the foundation to the palace that stood here. There's a picture here of what it used to look like. Like that, the stairs go up and then there's a big temple. And now they have built a shrine on that spot. It would be cool if they rebuilt it. Obviously that's a big task. And here we have a stone turtle. Sacred treasure donated by DOGI Gold and Gems Group. The 1000th anniversary of the capital. Here we have old French architecture blended into the old wall, 1000-year-old walls. It's cool. So now we're headed deeper into the Imperial Castle grounds, or Citadel grounds. And up here we have a more modern building. This is a bunker built during the American War, as they call it here, to house important meetings for fighting the Americans back in the 60s. Here we have some old tactical maps of the south. Here's a map of Cambodia and the south of Vietnam. And here's a map of the ways of attack on the southern capital, Saigon, where I just was a few days ago. It's interesting. So obviously the Americans had their base in the south, in Saigon, and the communists had their main city here in Hanoi. Stairs down to a bunker. Let's take a look. So during the 60s and 70s, the Vietnamese dug many bunkers and protection from the American bombs, much like this one. It's just like an apartment building. Different rooms with very important meetings happened right here. We have a map how the American bombers flew from Guam and Philippines over to Vietnam to bomb. And of course, Uncle Ho Chi Minh. Hello. All right, let's get up from the bunker. That was basically the war room where all the plans of further attack in the war happened. Super cool. It's humid. Really humid. All right, let's see what more is in here in the citadel. I didn't expect there to be like a war museum thing here, but obviously this is the most secure place to build a bunker during war times. So it makes sense that they had their command post here. All right, let's continue further in to the citadel grounds. Here's another way down into a bunker. Let's head down this bunker as well.
Attention, il y a une marche d'une hauteur différente. Là, papa? Oui.
This was just like a small one. here's the way up. Yeah, that was a small bunker. Let's get up and out. Ooh. And of course, all the flags really shows what side of the war, or yeah, what side of the war that won. It's no secret that the American side lost and the communists won. Here behind the palace we have this building, which is the pavilion of the ladies, which is like a place where the king came to worship the three gods, to get well wishes for the people whenever he came to visit the capital. And this has 3 floors. This was built in 1821, and it also survived the French occupation. And yeah, it has been restored to its original state. Yeah, whenever the king came back to the capital city, he first of all came here to praise the gods. Let's see if we can find a way up to the 2nd floor. Right here. Oh, that's steep. That's very steep. The way to the 3rd floor was not accessible, and I'm trying to gracefully go down these stairs, which are like 50 centimeters high, and the roof is not tall enough. It was not very gracious, but I made it down. So that was the pavilion of the ladies. Looks like on my map that there is no good way to get to the other back gate that I thought was the front gate, but apparently it's not very impressive compared to the main gate. So let's leave this Imperial Citadel grounds and drink something and see what else I can find here in Hanoi. This is already more interesting than Saigon or Ho Chi Minh. I'm very excited to see what else there is to see. All right. Here at the entrance of the park, right next to the Tower of Hanoi, Flag Tower of Hanoi, is a statue of a very famous person, which you probably wouldn't see a statue of in many different places. This is a statue of Vladimir Lenin. very important for the communists, of course. We've just walked through the gates into Van Mu here in Hanoi. This is the site of the ancient library and the foundation of the first university here. And it was founded in 1070, so almost 1,000 years ago. Here through the first pavilion we have what's called the Well of Heavenly Brilliance. And it's full of small carps. This gate that we just passed through is actually the symbol of Hanoi. So in like all of the like pamphlets and stuff about Hanoi, you will see like a rendition of that building right there. We'll show you a picture when or maybe I put one here. See, I can do stuff like that. Anyway, let's continue to the next courtyard here in the whatever this place is called. Van Mu. Let's continue to the next courtyard. And here in the back of the courtyard they have a temple to Confucius, the Chinese philosopher. Very interesting that they have a shrine to an old philosopher, but I guess it makes sense in a school. That was that. There's some side buildings as well. Let's take a look in them. Wait, there's another. There's a secret path. Oh, there's another gate here. To another courtyard. They're doing some renovations here. So I'll leave it for you to come and figure out what they're building here. These lamps, by the way, is the building I talked about before. Like a stylized version of it. That's the symbol of this city, pretty much. All right, let's head back to the entrance through all the courtyards. This is very different from a modern school, I would say. Here we have a building full of turtles with like stone tablets on their backs. Probably had some kind of profound writing on them. Oh, apparently there are names of all the successful students on these tablets. There's around 80 of these stone tablets with around 1,300 names of people who graduated. Here lies Ho Chi Minh, the founder of the Communist Party here in Vietnam, and this is one of the most important places in the city. This monument was built in 1975, 6 years after Ho Chi Minh's death, and before this was built he was preserved and finally laid to rest here when it was built. So that's the mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh. We are here by a temple next to the big lakes here in the north of the capital, and this temple was built in the 11th century. Someone has made an offering of beer. Very beautiful. The Phi crossing the road like a pro. Here he's crossing, he's halfway there, and he made it!
Alive!
Do you have a comment to your performance?
It was tough. Our team did their best, but at the end we managed to pull the clutch, and here we are.
Very well done. All right, we're by the big lakes. Let's have a closer look. Cool. Look at that smog.
What?
The smog.
Yeah.
We're here by the lakeside pagoda. Most well-known tourist attraction here in Hanoi. This is the famous train street.
What is the maximum? Thank you very much.
Whoa!
Coconutty.
Very Hanoi beer.
How much time?
So it should be 6:10.
16 then.
16:10. The train should arrive. And now it's how much?
That's my question.
You have the phone in your hand.
45.
45.
Half an hour.
Yeah, 25 minutes. All right, here's the train.
That was a long train.
That was fucking scary.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was scary.
They're selling fish for dinner tonight.
Oh yes, that's a big one. Oh, they're actually